This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at Accenture.com/Spotify.
This is going to be an extremely busy month. I have to watch 104 soccer games, follow the pregame, the postgame, yell useless opinions at the TV. It's a lot. So I knew that when it comes to screening for colon cancer, the choice was clear. The Cologuard Plus test. It can be used at home and can only take 15 minutes, so I can do it during halftime and not miss any action. If you are 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a prescription at Cologuard.com.
Need a laptop that's built to perform and designed to last all day? Select Windows 11 PCs starting at $499.99 are now at Best Buy. Learn more at BestBuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. Shout out to my boy B. Foster. He will not be here, but I got the rest of the gang here. Yeah, it's a shame, man. At this point, he's just irresponsible. That's all I can say, man. Always missing shows. It's just unacceptable. But before we get into this show and I let the gang introduce themselves, I want everybody to subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube. We're nearing that 500 subscriber mark. We're in the 420s, I believe. So, yeah, you guys have responded, and we appreciate it. And for those that want to listen, you can find us anywhere you listen to a podcast. Just go on any platform where you can hear a podcast, type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN in your search. Make sure you download those episodes. Make sure you hit that notification bell so when we drop content, you'll get an alert. And it's the same for these guys as well. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and where you can find them and make sure you check them out. And if you haven't subscribed to none of their channels, you are wrong. So we'll start with you, Pay.
Frustrated Chicago sports fan channel here, representing all things Chicago, even the good and the bad. We're going to talk about some Bears, the defending NFC North champs. How's it going, June?
You couldn't.
What do you mean?
You enjoy that so much. I'm doing okay.
You should. You should enjoy it. Yeah, they don't come around. They don't come around all too often. You got to enjoy it.
Yeah. Dave.
Hey, I'm Dave from Vikings First and Skull. You can find us on YouTube and, of course, any of your podcast aggregators. And we even got a Facebook page for that matter. I just want to say, hey to everybody and welcome to the show. You think we don't have any news to report? That's not even close. We have the succubus from The Athletic that's brought in the Vikings into the news once again. And we'll be talking about her, I'm sure.
All things considered, it wasn't her. It was the cop. It's his fault.
Well,
It's his fault.
It's his fault. He's the one that said, I'm a Vikings fan. Unfortunately.
Right. That's his fault.
We'll talk more about that, and then we'll let everyone decide, have their own thoughts on it. But it doesn't. I'll just leave that alone until later. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
It's that time of year where we've officially entered it's too hot for all that season.
Yeah.
Yes.
The dog days of summer.
We haven't really reached the dog days yet. We're in the get out my face part of the summer. I don't want to deal with anything. It is
in the simmer mode. It isn't in the full-blown roiling boil mode yet.
Where are you and where is the temperature where you're at?
Heat index, 113.
What about you, Dave?
It's presently 95 and the heat index of 107 or 8.
Same here. It's about the same here. Right here in Detroit, it's that heat index takes us to about 107. Yeah. I went outside to go get the mail, and I hurried up and got back in the house.
This ain't the time for none of those all-natural deodorants.
Oh, the lime juice. Stick to the lime juice on the tacos and whatever. Do not depend on that under the pits. Get some deodorant with that aluminum in it. Just go ahead. Just for these days, use a little aluminum.
Please don't piss me off.
You can't be around. I mean, it's bad enough it's hot. You can't be around stank and hot.
No.
That's not a good combination. I don't think anybody has had that many transactions, if any, but we have had headlines with our teams, right? And
Yeah.
me being the host, I'm going to go last, and I'll let you guys decide who's going to go first. And we'll talk about our team's headlines because I know I got one, and you probably already can. People that's listening and watching, you probably already know what I'm going to talk about.
The big one of the show.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I have to bring the news.
Well, I mean, again, to be fair, you didn't bring the bad news. You're just talking about it.
I'm just talking
And
about it.
I think everybody else has already
Everybody
heard it.
Everybody knows, so I didn't bring it. I'm just talking about it.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys decide. You can rock, paper, scissors.
I will cede the floor to Dave because I think his is a little bit more topical and a little bit more far-reaching. And we already hinted at it. Dave, you saw that Dash video?
Uh-oh.
Yes, I did.
Here we go.
I sure did. Well, it came out earlier this week that the police department released, or New York Times in conjunction with the police department released the Dash video of her being Diana Russini.
Sounds
The one that's in trouble and is no longer employed, Diana Russini. Now she'll come back and she'll get her own podcast or whatever, and she's more than welcome to come on mine. I'll gladly have her.
keep the cameras
She
on.
gets pulled over because she was texting on her phone for an extended period of time. And the cop says, "Man, I've watched you since way back there, and then this and that and this and that. I pulled you over. I'm sorry. I'm breaking news. Just broke that the Bills coach, Sean McDermott, was fired. And I'm working on other stuff. And I'll get home and I'll finish it all, type stuff." And she asked him, "Well, are you a fan of the New York teams? You should be happy. If you are, the Jets, the Giants, got to help them." And he goes, "No, I'm a Vikings fan, unfortunately." And which the Vikings fan pause, unfortunately, will make all sorts of T-shirts this year. Probably be the motto of the season going forward, but we'll find out.
That's a good idea.
And she goes, "Well, wait a minute. Let me show you." And she clicks on her phone and she leans through the window and goes, "Here." And he goes, "No, KOC." And she goes, "Yes." And he's reading and goes, "Read all the way down to the bottom." And then she goes, "And your quarterback sucks." So not only is she implementing KOC as a source, which, all right, these insiders have sources. I got that. But the whole idea of her and a male coach source, you wonder how far she's plugged in or he's plugged in. That'll have to be decided with KOC's wife. But JJ McCarthy is catching strays through the whole thing. It's just like, come on now. It wasn't a good look for her, obviously, or the Athletics, thusly the New York Times. And it's just brought up something that we didn't want to talk about. We'd moved on. The whole Russini story didn't involve us. But the whole idea of her going on the radio show and saying she FaceTimed a coach to get out of a ticket, and she didn't FaceTime, that was evident by the video. Everybody was trying to figure out who's that coach. And I even did a search last week going, well, could it be? And I said, are there any links to Russini and KOC? A bunch of the interviews she's done came up and all that sort of stuff. And I'll get into it in depth on Sunday. But it turns out it was KOC. And like I said, with the previous interactions with her, obviously Vrabel, I'll bet he had a rough night at the house. But that's just me speculating.
That comment, man. Well, what a way to start the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say.
Other than JJ McCarthy being drug into this unbeknownstly, like how I get into this, what I do. But anyway, other than that, this is a bad look for the New York Times, because why didn't they source that video out before they even let that article, which is a very good article. I read that.
It's outstanding.
Yeah, I that's the type of journalism I pay for it. $71 well spent. That video should not have come out after the fact, right, Dave? I think you agree with me there, right?
No, it should have been part of the whole process. But after the fact, and then, of course, somebody had asked the police that pulled him over, well, you've blurred the phone. Can you unblur it? Because it was made public, and originally they said, well, we blurred it because it has personal information, but it doesn't. All it says blue bubbles and white bubbles. They unblurred it and put it back out, but you can't read it because the camera on the cop wasn't a 4K video.
Thank God.
Those police departments, man, they're not getting enough money. They don't have 4K chest cameras.
Yeah.
We got to donate. We got to figure out a way to get that going on up there. Washington D.C. Let's get it together.
This is good stuff, man. This and the Pooh-Shiesty video.
But that was the most pressing thing. Like, man, I think it was a little I think it was a dereliction of duty almost, and not crossing all their T's with the New York Times, and in a story about errant journalism. I feel like, the first thing you lead the story off with is her doing a quid pro quo, which is obviously bad journalism. Is one of the first things they teach you, from what I understand. If you lead the story off with this, I think it's up to you to make sure that story actually checks out, because she could have just been playing it up to the crowd. Stu Gatz, I love it. Stu Gatz is one of my favorite podcasters.
Right.
I love him. His own show, him with Dan, love him. But the tenor of his shows are just, playing up for the crowd. I don't take everything that's said from him or guests as the Bible. You know what I mean? Especially coming from Diana, because Diana, she knows her stuff. She has her sources. She has her information. But when she's joking around and playing, talking about family stuff like that, maybe Joey. Do I believe Joey actually set the oven? No, I don't believe he did that. Do I believe the other kid actually microwaved her phone? Maybe, but I don't necessarily think that's, breaking news or anything like that. I don't think it's a serious situation. Other than that, someone needs to call DCFS. But I think she actually came out of that story, that part of the story, not the whole story. The whole story, she doesn't look good. But that part of the story, she actually came out a little bit better than it actually was perceived. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's something. But, we're all sitting here, looking for stuff to write about, more, about the quarterback competition, this, that, and every other thing. And suddenly, boom, out of nowhere, the Vikings catch heat. And it's like, whoa, how do we get tied in with Diana Russini? And there it was. And of course, like I said, I'll be going in deep on Sunday. So watch Two Old Bloggers.
Well,
how did that police officer from all the way up there become a Vikings fan? I think that's the part of the journalism that's being missed.
You would be surprised how spread out Vikings fans are. They're from all over the states and all over the world. We have a huge fan base. And why? You're a glutton for punishment.
So, let me understand this before we move on, Joe. Dave, you're going deep on this situation, on this story Sunday. A lot of people are glutton for punishment, and you'll be surprised how spread out Vikings fans are. Got it. All three of those. On a story about Diana Russini. Got it.
You got it, babe.
So before we talk to Pay and his headlines, we're going to take a quick break. I'm sure you need a second to digest all of this. If you're watching, give us about 15 seconds. If you are listening, you're going to hear some wonderful ads. We will be right back.
And we're live on match day as Doug reaches for a buffalo wing. He's got it! Oh, and he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! What a finish! There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi.
¿Qué hule? ¿Me extrañaron? Aquí tienen a Aurelio.
Esta es la saga más famosa de la televisión hispana.
Soy indestructible, imparable.
Y su banda sonora se escribe con balas.
Me gusta que te vean, que te aplaudan. Y eso está bien. Alguien tiene que ser el payaso. Pero cuando falles, que vas a fallar, no va a haber segunda vuelta.
Hoy vas a pagar con sangre. El Señor de los Cielos. Temporada final. Martes 7 de julio a las 9:08 Centro por Telemundo y Peacock.
Meet Timothy. Because this is radio, you can't see Timothy. You can't see that Timothy has eczema. And you can't see that he's sliding down a slip and slide with his big brother. You see, Timothy's on Dupixent, Dupilumab. It helps control his moderate to severe eczema when prescription topical therapies aren't enough. And because this is radio, you can't see Timothy's clearer skin or how he's itching less. But kids as young as 6 months can see for themselves how Dupixent helps heal their skin from within and get ahead of their eczema. And it's not a cream, steroid, or immunosuppressant. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor right away of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Dupixent helps your child feel the heal. Ask your child's eczema specialist, visit Dupixent.com, or call 1-844-DUPIXENT.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
All right, we are back. Make sure you are subscribing to our channels. Hey, what's going on in Chicagoland, man? Any Bears news or any big headlines?
Chicago did beat San Diego today 23-3. The defense only allowed a field goal. So I think that margin of victory is record setting. It hasn't been a long time since they beat somebody by 20. You did say Bears, my bad. So the Bears, not the Cubs and Padres. So the Bears, the ongoing stadium saga, they're now saying that the Bears are only dealing with Indiana. I don't know why these little trickles of information keep coming out, trying to irritate me. I did tell you all earlier we are in the part of the year where it's too hot for that shit. But here we go, making me mad about stuff that should not be happening. I don't know if this officially came from Kevin Warren. I haven't had enough time to deep dive into that story or headline about if the Bears are actually truly only dealing with Indiana. I know they said that they're looking at more waterfront properties. They're investigating more sites in that same Wolf Lake region with Hammond. So it seems to me that they are actually advancing some things in Indiana at a turtle's pace. So still, it's things that you don't want to hear because it takes away from the focus. The focus being finishing up whatever legislation that they had already started on with Illinois. I would prefer all attention be there. Now I know when you're doing leverage and leverage plays and like that, you can't let your foot off the gas. I get it, but this is just more of that same old thing we've been talking about. They're not doing enough due diligence. This is probably for the Bears. They're not doing enough with Illinois to actually get it over the line, and they're doing not enough with Indiana to actually even push it over the line. They can tell you all they want about, man, we wanted shovels in the ground a year ago or whatever, but it don't seem like to me that this team is actually serious about getting things done in a professional manner. This is the second offseason in a row. You got the entire NFL world asking if the Bears front office or as an entire organization knows what the hell they're doing. I don't think so either, Dave, in some respects. I do think, even though the estate planning is already done for the McCaskies and the Bears are going to be in the family for a long, long time, there are some questions as if this whole big business of the NFL has passed the Hallis family / McCaskey family by. I think that is a question that we could truthfully start pondering. I mean, the Bears have always been owned by Hallis since how long has it been? 1920. So it comes to a point. You could add the New York Giants into this too. Wellington Morrow, they've owned they owned the Giants for a long time too. You can come to the point. It's like, you know what? At some point, we're swimming in waters that are a little too deep. I would hope that we don't reach training camp and we're still talking about the same stadium news at the same point. But other than that, the on the field news.
Oh, hold on. Did you see Courtney Cronin's clip on ESPN 1000 or whatever it was?
Which clip?
Where she talks about the Illinois legislature. They talked about doing it at the end of summer and then August. She goes, he doesn't see anything happening until probably December at the earliest.
Well, as far as the legislature, yes, because they're out of session and they don't come back into session, I think, until November. However, if you call a special session, which has been intimated that if we get enough done, we can call a special session in August when the state fair is in Springfield. That's the only remediation to this happening in Illinois prior to what you said or what you cited Courtney said prior to the winter. I would assume that the Bears are tired of, sitting on your hands. Maybe they like sitting on their hands. I don't know. I don't want to speak for them.
It was reported they were doing a bunch of drilling across the whole area over in Indiana today, over the weekend. They had drill rigs out for environmental testing. They should have the results back by then.
By December?
Environmental testing? You bring up ground core plugs and send them off to a laboratory somewhere to be tested.
Yeah, that shouldn't take too long. But again, that goes back to what I was saying. That's stuff they should have done months ago.
I agree.
And now they're still looking at other sites, and they've got to do testing on those sites and get zoning done and, figure some other stuff out and blah, 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 blah. Enough. And then all the other stuff was going on in Illinois. They're still trying to figure out their bills with Springfield. They got other players, other municipalities jumping into the mix. McCook, like we talked about last week, a few sites in Chicago. Everybody wants their taste. Everybody wants to get the Bears' ear. How about we just figure this thing out? Warren, McCaskey, anybody else, just put all your attention to where it needs to be.
Now, the whole reason that the McCaskies want to move, one is because the stadium doesn't meet NFL standards, is that they want more cash inflow so they can afford higher salaries and to pay them, because the McCaskies don't have, or the Bears themselves may be valued at $8 billion, but it's not all sitting in a bank somewhere. And so they don't have the money to go out in free agency and grab top of the name guys. And hopefully the way they want to do that is get, a low cost to them stadium, no taxes, stuff like that, so they can increase their profit margins so they can have that cash to keep the team competitive.
Of course, when you speak about liquid money versus your unrealized gains, that's all a fool. You all saw Wolf of Wall Street. It's just fugazi. It's fugazi. It's not real. You know what I'm saying? So you can say the Bears are worth $8 billion. You can't, unless you get credit. You can't pay any bills with that. And I know I know that we're in a scam friendly part of American history, but I'm not taking any IOUs. I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need those actual greenbacks.
The other thing I saw was some tweets. There's some people in Indiana that don't want to pay taxes for a Bear stadium either. Not only Illinois, but Indiana. So,
well,
if we get through that, master or whatever we want to call it, machinations, and the Bears don't have anything at the end.
No one wants to pay taxes. I think taxes is always unpopular nowhere you go. No matter if the taxes are actually good for you, no one wants to pay them. But June,
it's in our blood. 250 years ago.
You're right. We are 250 years ago. We got to pulling out the muskies over taxes. Well, not we, but June.
Not we.
Well, I'm gonna need you to practice a little better discernment over there. There's a certain comments that you're putting up. Ban those comments. Don't put those up anymore from a certain.
In Wisconsin, there's always Milwaukee.
There's always you can always have the Milwaukee Bears. That's what I'm thinking. There's always.
No. And I heard there was a spot just right across the border between the border and Milwaukee that was offered up or prime location.
I haven't heard that. And absolutely not.
Tim says moving to St. Louis. They'd follow
absolutely not. Well, I mean, the Cardinals was in Chicago at first. Too.
At first.
Hey, it's all the Midwest. They're still, still the Chicago Bears at heart.
Okay, there's the Midwest, and then there's Chicago. No.
They're still the Bears. They'll still be the Bears, just St. Louis Bears.
No. In St. Louis and Chicago is so different. No.
They are. They're very different.
It's like, did anybody actually connect with the Rams when they was in St. Louis? No, they were still LA's team.
They were still.
Well, but no, it had a fan base here in St. Louis, but it was still considered LA because that's where they started. That's where they grew up.
Of course.
That's where all the legends were.
Yeah, but none of that will work for the Bears. You move the Bears to St. Louis, there's going to be some hell to pay. If you move the Bears to anywhere, there's going to be hell to pay. Indiana, don't even discuss Wisconsin with me. Anywhere else. Arlington Heights, that's a pill easier to swallow. Mostly because, as we discussed, most of the high-paying fan base is up that way anyway. All the guys with the PSLs and the season tickets, the good season tickets, they're mostly located, according to the Bears, they're located up that way. George Halas, he wanted to move the Bears to Arlington Heights way back in the 70s. So there's some kinetic energy with the two sites. Well, that site and the Chicago Bears. So, but anywhere else, it's really not going to be popular with the fan base.
It wouldn't be the same not being in Chicago.
Imagine leaving Chicago and going to name a place, Hammond. I left Chicago and I went to Indiana. You don't say that out loud. Don't tell nobody you said.
There were Dodgers fans that said that eons ago.
They left New York and went to LA.
There were Lakers fans that said it eons ago.
Yeah, they upgraded both of those. We're talking about downgrading. Leaving Chicago, I'm going to St. Louis. Downgrade.
Well,
what's up, Campo?
To be continued, I guess. I'm pretty sure that they're going to get things done, just not at the pace a Bears fan would like.
I would prefer to get it done soon because we got to talk about football.
Hey, I'm seeing a lot of stuff where you may do a trade. Speaking of Indiana, from the Colts
to the Bears.
He hasn't. What are you talking?
Who are we acquiring?
That's his name.
Hope it's not a corner. We need it.
If it's not Marshall Faulk, I don't.
No. Where did I see it? I thought it was here, but I'm not seeing it now. That you guys were interested in grabbing their top running back to pair up with yours.
Oh,
so a 3 running backfield. It's enough. Okay. I don't think there's much legs, pun intended, on that one.
Well, where the hell to go? I'll have to look.
But there is a team that could use a trade.
Just say it, Pay.
I'm just saying. I mean, you all had a roster reduction this week.
Yes, we did. Some are even saying that this is probably Brad Holmes' worst first-round pick because of this situation.
Okay.
Because of the situation. As you know, the Lions have released cornerback Terrion Arnold, right after he was released from jail. He had his court date. He has day in court on Monday, and he was released on $1 million bail. And it seems like 15 minutes after that news was released, he was released. And that was our starting corner. One thing that the Lions did do during the offseason was they addressed that that defensive back situation, being that Branch is out and Kirby Joseph's going to be out for a little while. So they moved they got a bunch of pieces in there in the defensive backfield, but they weren't expecting this, even though this news came out in February, I believe. The whole incident with the Airbnb being broken into and a bunch of stuff being stolen, and it happens to be the stuff that belongs to Terrion Arnold and a few other people. And then there was some action taken with the people accused of being the ones that broke into the Airbnb allegedly. And that's where these crimes are stemmed from. Now, from my understanding, there's no hardened evidence against Terrion Arnold except for the pleas that two of the co-defendants have statements on. And these two people they caught pleas. They were facing life sentences along with them, but they were sentenced to 4 years on Monday. Now, the first interview that they had, they never mentioned Terrion Arnold's name. The second interview with the detective or the prosecuting attorney or whoever it was, I don't know, they changed their stories. They've been accused of changing their stories multiple times, but this time they mentioned Terrion Arnold's name, which prompted him to be indicted. And so that's why he was charged, and that's why he went to jail. He claims he's innocent. He has a wonderful lawyer. His lawyer was talking really good on Monday, and he pointed out quite a few things I feel like it was a win for him, and I'm happy for him as far as, a man, because, I don't want to see anybody go to jail, especially if they could be innocent. I mean, don't want to see anybody get in trouble. But he is no longer a Lion, and he was our first round pick 3 years ago, going into his third season. Is it a big blow? It's news and it's a blow, but we haven't seen a great or a very good Terrion Arnold on the field. His rookie year was horrendous, and he was banged up a lot last year. And we haven't seen the best of Terrion Arnold, and sadly, we won't be able to see the best of him because he probably will never be a Lion. Now, I do think he will play football again. I do think he will get through this unless there's some new overwhelming evidence that comes out. And I think after that time, if he does get through it, he'll probably be a Viking. And the reason why I say that...
Or Cincinnati Bengal.
Yes. Tim might like him.
Well, Dave, you said it was some questions.
Some talk in Vikings land that he might be. It would be interesting to bring him on into our cornerback room. Yes.
He's not a bad
one. Wouldn't it be something if the Buffalo Bills actually signed him?
Why? Yeah, it would be something. It would be something.
I mean, because, they had a famous player who went to jail for doing the same thing. A famous player who's no longer in their Hall of Fame.
Nor their Ring of Honor.
Or on earth, for that matter.
All correct.
But the thing is, he could be a Raider. Maybe, that's where the bad boys go.
Or the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones loves a headline.
Oh, yes, he does.
One thing about this story, I'm not super abreast on all the details of it, but I do know he has hired a very well-known defense attorney. So the state is going to be up to their ears in motions and everything else to prove this case. Now, whatever they dangled in front of the other two gentlemen who took the pleas from life to only get 4.
They were ladies. They were 2 females.
2 women. Okay, I'm sorry. See, not 2 more. So you go from life to 4 years. They had to taste. They said a lot.
They were singing like the Pointer Sisters.
We shall see where this goes, but just based on what I know about the defense attorney, I give Terry. Usually when stuff like this happens with athletes, it's like, man, they're done. Especially things of this to this degree. But he's got the lawyer, and if you know anything about this country, whatever you can afford to pay, the justice you get and the punishment you receive is all based on what you can afford to pay, and based on how good your attorney is. He's got a good attorney. He's not going to be out there representing it like the circus that you saw with Stephon Gilmore and everything, and all that case. He's going to. It's going to be something that we'll pay attention to. So I'm not going to call. I'm not going to cancel out his future in the NFL. Like, he might still have one, and it might very well be soon.
Yeah. I actually think, and I'm glad you brought that up about the lawyer, because I didn't know anything about the lawyer, but I just know he handled his business on Monday. Like, he pointed out some things, and I believe his lawyer is the very reason he was given a bond as it was, with no tether, just house arrest, and able to they said he was able to work. So he was able to go to training camp, if so be it, but he was released. He is now not with the team. Now, a team can actually go get him if they wanted to deal with. But I think Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes said, enough with the distractions. Let's just part ways, give him a fresh start, and not do.
Because Dan Campbell here a couple weeks ago was going, yeah, we understand what all's going on, and we're fine with keeping him. And then suddenly it was boom. No, he's released.
Yeah. I mean,
that was before the arrest.
Yeah, that was before him being indicted and charged with anything. It was just, you're going by what is being, the actual accusation at that point. You're going by what Terrion Arnold is saying. Once he gets arrested for it, the game changes.
The NFL investigators were involved.
Yeah, and from what my understanding, for each charge, and it was 4 or 5 of them, it might have been 6. The NFL charges $150,000 per charge.
Really? I didn't know that.
From my understanding, he has to pay more than that bond. He has to pay for each charge that he's accused of.
Mm.
Look it up. That's something I heard, but I think that's what it is.
What, to pay for their security, sort of?
I don't know, but if you get charged with anything, that you got to come out your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The Lions know more about the situation than we do. They drop. Yeah, I think they
something came up.
Definitely.
And they said, nope, no more.
It definitely changed the way the organization looked at things after the court date. Like, once he was arrested, I think, ball game. That's it. We're gonna move on. And of course, they weren't gonna cut him while he was in jail. They just, right after he was released, I don't even think they talked to him after that. I think once they got the news he was free. Go ahead, Pay. I'm sorry.
I had heard that that he did win against the prosecutors about not having electronic monitoring too, right? I think
he does not have that.
There were no real, I guess, tethers or roadblocks to him being able to still do his job.
Well, one of the things they said is he's on house arrest, but he can work. He can go to work.
Mm.
That was actually said in court.
Right, which means traveling up to Michigan.
Practice. He was, because the news, the podcast and the people covering it were actually elated and said he can go to fall camp. He can go to training camp. That was the big thing. And 10 minutes later, he was released. Because that's the headline I sent Foster. Like, he's able to attend training camp. I mean, he's back. But then they released him.
It makes you wonder. Like, not to say that the NFL investigators aren't worth their money or whatever, because they They know. They get some pretty good information and inform the teams on what they need to do. However, if he was granted a bond, I mean, albeit at $1 million bond, if he was granted a bond and all of the, well, we haven't got the discovery yet. So I doubt that whatever Detroit has is more than what we actually know at this point. I just think I agree with what you said, Joan. We are focused on getting back to playing Lions football. And I don't think we are going to waste any time or have any distractions and getting back to where we decide to be, where we have decided where we should be. And sorry, Terrion Arnold, we're going to move on without you. I think that's just it.
And I think the message has to be sent at this point. It's like, hey, this something like this happen, you're just not going to play Lions. And maybe it'll be a deterrence for others, because we do have some people on the team that like to hang out in Detroit. Terrion Arnold was one of them that used to hang out on the east side, 8 Mile, and just at clubs. And I'm like, what are you doing around here? Like, what are you doing out there? But, hopefully he can learn from this. Hopefully he'll be free, and maybe he'll learn to, because what you're doing this for over $250,000 worth of materialistic stuff, and you're in a profession where you can get that back. And where's your insurance? Like, come on.
That's what happens when you hang out with free work.
Airbnb. Even if you own the Airbnb.
Yeah. Tim wants to know if I think he returns to Detroit to get his stuff. I think he returns to pick up his belongings. Other than that, he's back out the door. Hopefully he stays away from Florida. I'm sorry, but
how much money does he lose in the 2 years?
He signed a 4-year deal for about $15 million. The rookie contract. It was something like
Well, I know the Lions saved some cap money this year and next, and it's going to see how it plays out to how much.
Yeah.
Since it was this late in the game, he got all his bonuses. He got all his guarantees already. So I mean, I don't know if Detroit is trying to recoup anything from him. So
yeah, I'm about to say there could be a cause clause in his contract.
There's always morality clauses and all that stuff in these contracts. But as far as like, do he owe them any money? I can't see. Me not knowing what his actual contract is, if it's a standard contract getting cut late June, I don't see it.
They took Megatron's money back.
So if there's any franchise who would come get that money, it's the Detroit Lions. They said, hey, Barry, we know you're the greatest running back ever.
But
allegedly.
we
don't have to give that money.
Yeah, they did Barry the same way. We need that. You retiring? Okay, give us some money back. We gave you a bonus.
That's right.
Dr. Prado says, this is a prime example of athletes who cost it through school, probably should have paid a bit of attention to math and economics.
I think we all should have paid attention to math and economics during school, Dr. Prado.
I think that is correct. I wish
even if you were good at it, you needed more.
I wish my school taught economics.
They did.
Econ would have been very helpful in this day and age.
Well, it also tells you got to, from this, I think it's easy to say he's not around the right people, but I used to tend to think that, people would have, if you was in a clique, you had a fall guy. Like, the money man can't be the fall guy. I can't get arrested for anything.
The old Carter.
Lecture. Yeah. So if you're going to do something about some stuff leave me out of it. Just, if you're going to do something, just make sure you protect the money, which is me. Protect the money. Do what you got to do. Leave me out of it.
Even Free World got a fall guy.
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame. He's young. Well, I think he's 23. And he's got to go through this. It's insane.
We can just hope that this is a wake up call for him. He can go through this and come out on the other side a better person.
Yes, that'd be nice.
Well, I think that about wrap it up for this week's show.
But speaking of lessons learned, how many head coaches do you think learned lessons over the Diana Russini debacle?
Absolutely none of them.
Just didn't happen.
You know, how many are now going to, I'm not talking to you off the clock. I'll talk to you at a press conference, but not off the clock. You're not.
Don't think so. Don't think anybody's going to take that lesson. Maybe FaceTime and, off the record, maybe not. But not talking to insiders? No. They're going to continue doing that.
Well, when it politically suits them, yes.
Yes. I'm going to use you. You're going to use me, and that is the way we're going to keep dealing.
You're going to promote Kyler Murray as the greatest thing since sliced bread, even though JJ McCarthy win the competition.
That sort of thing.
Fellas, if you can go around the room and tell them when your next show is and where they can find you.
Hey, Vikings First and Skull. We normally have the Real Forno show tomorrow night, but unfortunately, his wife changed the plans. So there will be no Real Forno show tomorrow night. The next show you get from us is Darren and I on Two Old Bloggers. And we'll be talking about Diana Russini in detail. And we're talking over years of stuff and how it relates to the Minnesota Vikings and KOC in particular. And how in the world did JJ catch a stray? It is what it is. You could always come and watch us 4:00 on Sunday. And I got a question. Did you guys watch last Sunday? I told you I was talking about the Bears and the Lions in the show, and I did.
I did watch.
I forgot what I was doing. I was supposed to tune in.
Okay. And we did. And the whole reason was we were talking about the Bears and Caleb Williams saying all the hour and a half to 2.5 hours he spends daily with Ben Johnson during the season.
Kind of bromance is going on over there.
It happened with golf too, supposedly.
They're locked in.
Well, can't say nothing about that. Golf did. Dave, but you know what I was doing the other day, man?
What?
I was watching some Percy Harvin highlights. Oh, my.
Percy was something else. He was healthy.
We go from Terrion Arnold to Percy? Wow.
That he was electric.
Yeah, the only bad thing about him was he had disabling migraines.
Discernment, discernment.
Take him.
I know why. I know how JJ caught that straight because all those straight passes he'd been throwing. But over at Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel, we are going to be recapping the latest series between the Chicago Cubs and the San Diego Padres. Another sweep for the boys in blue. After that, we do have we're going to have more of our football talk. We're going to be ranking the Bears units, the running back room, tight end room, wide receiver room, defense, so on and so forth, versus everybody else in the division, conference, and larger NFL. So check those videos out coming over in the next week or so. And also, we are also going to, but I do also want to send this may be a little bit early, but my thoughts. How about that? I'm going to send my thoughts to the CJ2K family. One of those other big news from this week in the NFL. Terrible, terrible news. I know you all saw it. It hit you like a ton of bricks like it did me. Like, I can't believe that. CJ2K, nothing about him, Chris Johnson, screams like, impotent or lacking life. But, yeah, enjoy football while you have it. Yes, enjoy football while you have it, Terrion Arnold and all the rest, because it can take from you, and you don't want to waste your time, your youth, or any time you have in this world. You got to take the bull by the horns because it can go in a heartbeat. So, very sad news. I was shocked to hear it. we will hopefully another one of these diseases we need to eradicate.
Yes, it'd be nice.
Yes.
Now, to bring up the bright side, how many days has it been since the Packers have won a game?
Over 200, Dave.
Hey, Henning. I saw an article where they're whining now about worrying about playing the first 8 games without Micah Parsons and think they're going to lose.
We have got to get a Green Bay Packer representative on this show. We have to. So we have to be fair.
Do we?
But it would be nice to say FTP while they're here.
Hey, we tried for years to recruit some and nothing. And he got fired.
Well, you can find me and B. Foster here at Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Also, you can find Foster and Coach on Corner to Copa on YouTube as well. Not quite sure when we're having another show. I have to get with Foster. We will be doing a Pistons show on Postgame Podcast on this very channel where we will wrap up the free agency. There's a lot of stuff, transactions going on with the NBA because free agency started yesterday at 6 p.m. So at some point we'll be talking about what the Pistons got. We'll talk more about, we're going to go in depth about the Terrion Arnold situation for those that don't know and what the Lions plan on doing moving forward. So make sure you subscribe to our channel. And fellas, I want you to make sure you guys are staying cool. It is hot. So have a great evening. I'll get with you. Make sure y'all subscribe to our channels. Have a great Monday. What's today? Wednesday? Oh, it's really
glad you're back, June.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is. You know, when you don't work, you tend to not to pay attention to the days, you know. It is what it is. Subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers.
Get your leg back. If you're gonna do something, ain't no shit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit flat. Stop, let this shit slide and get your leg back. And get your leg back. Get your leg back. Do something, ain't no shit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit flat. Stop, let this shit slide.